Hello there, I'm Mrs. Groovy Groves and I'm here to help you with Lesson 5 practice problems. Number 1, it says find the distance each wheel travels. The circumference of a wagon wheel is 25 inches. The wheel makes 4 complete rotations. All right, so again, we need to find the distance. So I like to draw a circle of what's given. Let's draw that. And we have that the circumference is 25 inches. So if the wheel rotates 4 times, if the wheel rotates 4 times, it rotates 1 time, and what we learned is that when a circle rotates, that is the circumference of the circle. The fact that it rotates 4 times, that would be 25, 25, 25, 25. So all you have to do is take the circumference times 4, and you would get 25 times 4, and you would get 100. 100 inches is how much the wagon wheel rotated. All right, B, it says the diameter of a bike wheel is 27 inches. The wheel makes 15 complete rotations. Okay, so let's understand what was given, and let's draw what we have. Okay, we have a circle, and they said that the diameter is 27 inches. Okay, so that's good. So we have D equals 27. So remember that the rotation a wheel makes is the circumference of the circle. So we need to have our formula C equals pi D. So I have my plug would be 3.14 times 27. And the circumference of that, if you punch it in, it would be 84.78. Now, because it makes 15 complete rotations, remember that if it goes 1 time, it's about 84.78, and then it's a second one, another 84.78, another 84.78, etc., etc. So we need to do 84.78 times 15 for the 15 rotations, and then that would give us about 1,271.7. And let's just round it to at the very end, I like to round it to the nearest whole number. So 84.78 times 15. Okay, so let's just round this to, it's approximately 1,272 inches. Please box your answers so that you get in the habit of identifying your answers and making sure that they pop. All right, C, the radius of a skateboard wheel is 2.6 centimeters. The wheel makes 100 complete rotations. All right, so let's annotate and let's understand all the juicy, important stuff that was given to us. So we have the wheel on the skateboard, and what they gave us was that the radius is 2.6. So if the radius is 2.6, then that means we need to double the radius to figure out the diameter, and the diameter would be 5.2. So that is the number that we need to plug for C equals pi D, and we would have 3.14 times 5.2, and that would be approximately 16.328. Now again, that's the rotation for one rotation. We're talking about 100 rotations. So what we need to do is we need to times this number by 100, and then our final answer would be 1,632.8. But let's just round that up to 1,633 centimeters. Okay. And I actually want to change this right here too, because otherwise it kind of looks like it's the circumference formula, but I want to put this, it was 1,271.7. And again, we're multiplying the circumference by the number of rotations, okay? All right, number 2. The wheels on Kieran's bike are 64 inches in circumference. How many times do the wheels rotate if Kieran rides 300 yards? Uh-oh, we got a little problem here because we have inches and we have yards. So the million-dollar question is, how many inches are in 1 yard? Well, I think, okay, so we know that there's 12 inches in a foot. In 1 yard, 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, okay? So you know there's 12 inches in a foot, so 1 yard would be equivalent to 36 inches, okay? That's really important for us to know. So 1 yard is equivalent to 36 inches. So let's draw what we were given. And it says that the circumference is 64 inches. So let's draw that. And this is 64 inches. So I'm going to do a little table because you know me. I just love a table. So we have rotations to distance. So let's think about this. If we have one rotation, it would travel 64 inches. Now the question says, how many times do the wheels rotate if he rides 300 yards? So our distance is in inches right now, okay? So since it's 300 yards, and there's 36 inches in a yard, let's do 300 times 36. 300 times 36 is 10,800 inches. So I'm going to put this 10,800 inches over here. And you know that K is 64. You know, going forward from left to right, it's a times by 64. So going backwards, it would be a divide by 64. So 10,800 divided by 64 is 168.75. But let's just round that, you know, let's just say it's approximately 169 rotations. I'm going to put rots because I don't have enough space, but just know that that means rotations. All right, moving on to number 3. The numbers are measurements of a diameter, radius, and circumference of circles A and B. Circle A is smaller than B. Okay, A is smaller than B. What number belongs to which quantity? Okay, this is a very weird question. Do you agree? But they said that we got a radius, diameter, and circumference. There's circle A and circle B. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this right here because I know that 2.5 is half of 5. So this must be the radius and diameter of one of the circles, okay? So let's pair those up. If I have the radius at 2.5, that means the diameter would be 5. So let's do C equals pi d, and we'll do 3.14 times 5, and 3.14 times 5 is 15.7. So, ladies and gentlemen, that means that, okay, well, hold on. Let's just do this real quick, okay? So we had this one, and we have that one. They all kind of like linked up together, right? Okay, so now let's take a look at this one here, 7.6 and 15.2. If the radius is 7.6, if you double 7.6, 7.6 times 2 is 15.2. So, and then let's do C equals pi d. So we would have 3.14 times 15.2. And when you multiply that out, you would have 3.14 times 15.2. Go ahead. And you get approximately 47.7. So those end up like working out together, these three, okay? And they said that circle A is smaller. So if you look at this, these numbers are smaller than those numbers. So the diameter of circle A had to have been 5. The radius therefore was 2.5. And the circumference was 15.7. The diameter of circle B was 15.2. The radius was half of that, which was 7.6. And the circumference would have been 47.7. Okay, number 4. Circle A has circumference 2 2/3 meters. Circle B has a diameter that is 1.5 times as long as circle A's diameter. What is the circumference of circle B? Oh boy, you got to read that again, because I mean that's a lot of information, and I know it can be confusing for some people. I always read stuff 2 or 3 times. So let's draw circle A. Circle A has a circumference of 2.66666 forever, okay? That's what was given. I'm just going to put 2.6 repeating, okay? And then circle B has a diameter that is 1.5 times bigger as circle A's diameter, okay? So what we need to do is we need to find the diameter of circle A first, okay? So let's roll with C equals pi d. We know that the circumference is 2.6 repeating, and we know 3.14 is pi. So to get diameter all by its lonesome self, we need to divide by 3.14 to both sides. So, hold on a second. I want to do my aloha waves right here. So now this will cancel, and D will be approximately, input in your calculator 2.66666 as much as you can, divided by 3.14, and I would get 0.84849. I'm just going to say 0.85. Okay, now circle B, okay? Circle B, they said, has a diameter that's 1.5 times bigger than A's diameter. We just figured out that this was 0.85. The diameter was 0.85. If it's 1.5 times bigger, what we need to do is we need to take 1.5 times 0.85. So 1.5 times 0.85 is 1.275. So the diameter of this other circle is 1.275. Again, because it was 1.5 times bigger than circle A's diameter. So now what we have to do is calculate, and this was circle B. So now we have C equals pi d. We're going to run the formula. I have 3.14 times 1.275. And when you punch that in your calculator, I get C to be approximately 4. And it would be 4 meters. Okay, C is approximately 4 meters. I'm just going to circle it over here, actually. I'm going to box it right there. That's the final answer right there. All right, number 5. A is the center of the circle, and the length of AE is 5 centimeters, okay? As you can see, AE is the radius. What is the length of CD? Okay, well, if this is a radius, that's 5, and this would be 5 as well. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have R to equal 5, that means D would equal 10. So CD is 10 centimeters. Okay, B, what is the length of AB? Okay, well, that's a radius, and we know that all radii is 5, so we would say that's 5 centimeters. And now C, it says, name a segment that has the same length as AB. Okay, AB, well, you could say AG, AE, AC, AF, AD. Any of those would be great. So you could have said AD, AG, AE, AF, or AC. And that's it. All right. Well, what do you think?
That was easy.
I think that was easy too. All right. I hope I've helped you. This is Mrs. Groovy Grove signing out. Have a wonderful day.